Today I'm going to start a job that, to be totally honest, I really don't want to do, but the car will be better for it. So if you saw the very first episode, and you would have heard me mention before that I'm taking all of this as kind of a chance to refresh most of, if not the whole car. So with that in mind, what I'm doing is taking down the headliner. As you can see, it's kind of a grey and black plaid checker kind of pattern, whatever you want to call it, and it doesn't go with the brown and beige on the inside at all. The original plan was to potentially paint the car silver, so that's why the headliner was done that colour. So what I've got to do today, and why it's a pain in the hole, is because it's just kind of fiddly. I have to take down the visors, I have to take down the rearview mirror, well, not the whole, well yeah, you do have to take the whole thing, the dome light, the handles, the kind of trim surround pieces there that come down here over the seatbelt. They're the bits that are kind of fiddly and annoying, because the way the seatbelt is bolted in, I had it off before, and it was easier to kind of pop it through that, like pop the whole thing through that kind of slide piece there, whatever you want to call it. But again, like, it's a bit of a pain in the arse, because the clips and stuff to hold it on, they are 30 years old and stuff like that. I broke a few last time, I expect to break a few this time, but hopefully now it won't go too badly. So got all my tools ready to go, a little box to put everything in, and as I said, I don't really want to do it, but the car will look better for it. That came out, well, I won't say easy, but wasn't terribly difficult. You would have seen me struggling a little bit there on the time lapse to get it out through the back door. It's a lot easier with two people, but we made do. So that's the material that was on it. As you can see, the kind of plaid pattern. So it's lasted pretty well. It's a little saggy just there, but again, for about 4 years on the car, it's lasted fine. I just noticed it's a little bit mouldy along the edge, but again, for a car that doesn't get much use, that's not a big deal. So the plan, I don't know if I have material ordered. It should be here in the next day or two, so hopefully this won't take forever. I'm not sure whether or not to pull off the material that's there, or else just stick on the new material over that. I'm not really sure. I get the feeling if I pull all of that off, even if I try to heat it a little bit, I'd say it'll make bits of the whatever the kind of cardboardy stuff that the headliner's made out of. You can kind of see why I was struggling. Those trim pieces that go up along, say, the A pillar over the door and back down the B pillar and stuff, you can see there's one piece there. They're all one piece down, and you can see where the seatbelt goes through it there. It's all one piece till you get to there, then it splits back there, and then there's the last piece just thrown in the boot there. They're just a bit of a pain, because they kind of only clip in one way, and if one thing doesn't sit in right, the next one doesn't sit in right, and it's just a bit of a pain. So rather than taking the whole lot, like unbolting seat belts and pulling them out that way, I just left them in the car. It's not a big deal for now. So I'm just going to give a quick little inspection all around where the sunroof and stuff is. It was leaking a little bit before, but it seems to be okay. But I'll take a quick look and make sure that it's alright. Okay, that came apart pretty easy, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, the glue was shitty or something. I'm kind of surprised that it all peeled off so easy. I mean, as I saw or as you saw already, it was sagging kind of there, that area. I think it was sagging a little bit that side too, but I can't remember for sure. And this whole flat section peeled off really easy. But as you can see, like, you can see why I retrimmed it. Like, well, the yellow stuff is obviously the glue residue, but like, how grubby it is, and it's like, I don't know how it has such a dark square in the middle of it that kind of travels the whole thing. I don't know, is it sun or something like that, or whatever way shadows were hitting it for 30 something years, but it's cleaned up pretty good. I might try and get some of that off, but I think I'd be fighting a losing battle doing that. So material should be here in the next couple of hours, but at least now it's ready to go on. Should be pretty sweet. One thing I haven't decided yet. I'm obviously keeping the rear view and sun visors and stuff like that, and the dome light and so on. When I did it last time, I covered up that little, it's just like a trim, like a clip to help it kind of stick to the, or hang it from the roof, but there was more than enough in the O-shade handles, and then there's a couple of little clips at the back you might have noticed, or on the underside, that pop it up into the sunroof frame, or into the window frame I mean. But I might cover over those entirely, trim over them, and just not put them back in, just a slightly cleaner look. I saw it on a lowrider video that I saw a couple of days ago, so I guess I could just trim over them for now, and if I decide in a few weeks or months or years or whatever that I want to have the handles, or you know, then literally all I have to do is just slit the material and pop them back in. It's not a big deal. So that might look kind of cool. I'll see what happens from there, but hopefully now material arrives in the next hour or so and we can keep cracking. Well, that's one of the back ones. They look really nice. It still has to be glued down, but I think it's cool. It'll tie the whole lot together really nice. So we'll carry on now and get the other back one and the front one. The front's going to be a bit more awkward, so wish me luck. The front ones are a bit more awkward to do, but luckily the pocket actually comes off the door. It screws in at the back now. I just have it glued and held together with held on with clothes pegs for an hour or so till it dries. It all kind of, like the front part there, tucks in behind the speaker grill, so there's no need to worry about that. The rest tucks up and under in there, part of the panel. And then at the back we just need to later on just cut a hole there for the little courtesy light and stick it all back together. But it's brilliant. I'm very pleased with them. The glue is unreal. That stuff is absolutely brilliant. I've used spray glue before and it was really cheap stuff and it wasn't great, but that stuff, I can't remember how much it was, but I think it was over £10, but it was really good, well worth it. And we got basically the whole project out of it, the 4 door cards and the entire headliner. Very pleased with it. It looks really good. The back doors look lovely. The back doors were a bit more awkward, so they don't have anywhere to tuck in, so we just kind of, it's called overlocking, where you kind of seal up the thread so it doesn't fray anymore. So it does have a slightly kind of raggedy edge, but from a distance it's perfect. Well, it's the next day. I didn't manage to get everything finished up yesterday. It was too nice of a day. Yesterday was absolutely gorgeous, so hung out with my son in the evening instead of finishing up. But it is indeed finished and all kind of put back together. The video, you'll probably notice as we're going, it's a bit of a mess because it's done across 2 days and chopping up time lapse and stuff like that. But I'll give you a look at how it's all turned out. It's really nice. These are the front front door panels, I think they came out really nice. No, that makes it look worse. It looks really good. I'm very pleased with it. You can see the other one, the far side, and again on the back. I'm very pleased with how it came out. Now the car is still basically stripped, but the headliner itself is all back in. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I had made the decision yesterday I was going to use the grab handles even after talking about getting rid of them, but when I put it back in the car, it just looks so much cleaner without them. I know it's kind of hard to really get a proper grasp of it here because it's dark, but I was hoping today would be a nice day, and I'd be able to pull it outside and get some nice pictures of it and so on. I have some pictures I took last night. I'll edit in just here. And that's probably going to be all I ever do really to the inside of the car. I wouldn't mind, you know, I've been looking at an awful lot of lowriders and stuff like that on YouTube and on Instagram and stuff lately, and the stuff they do is just bananas. Like, it's super cool. But I think if there was more of these cars in the country, like let's say if I did something really wild with it and then decided I didn't like it and could just put a standard dash back in it, then maybe I do kind of crazier stuff. But I think for now, I think it's enough. It's not too wild, but it does have a little bit of sauce, so I'm pretty pleased with it. That's it so for this one. I know this has nothing to do with the air install, but I've decided that I'm not going to keep the videos just specifically to the air install stuff. So if I'm doing other stuff and it's fun, I'll put it up and I'll record it or whatever. If you like it, cool. If not, it's no big deal. So I have another project that's almost finished. It was kind of dependent on today being a nice day to do some painting, and that would have been another video that you would have seen in a couple of days, but today is a disaster. So probably leave that. I'm going to go in out of the rain, I'm going to have a cup of tea and sit on my ass.